Hello and welcome to JoyNews Prime, live from our studio here in Accra. We're live on DSTV channel 421, GoTV channel 125, and around the world on myjoyonline.com. Coming up, this hour, ECG fails to comply with PRC directive to produce load management timetable for recent erratic power supply, days after the energy minister dismissed the demand. Meanwhile, ECG workers under the Public Utilities Workers Union are fighting off the PRC in defense of the ECG management as they disclose you will be sleeping in darkness tonight because ECG has limited power to distribute. Also, Ghana COCOBOD rejects report it may lose final tranche of 800 million cedis cocoa syndicated loan as the company struggles to get enough beans to secure the remaining $200 million.
200 million?
No, because immediately you take it, you are supposed to deliver the cocoa.
Yeah.
And if the cocoa is not available, then you are going to default.
Details as our Greek economist Dr. Robert Edu bemoans Ghana's inability to benefit from rising cocoa prices due to existing forward sales arrangement. Now, also on today's episode of Joy News series on filth exhibition, we turn our attention to the Aladuna community where residents use an open drain as a makeshift dumping site for all manner of waste. Now, the Ghana COCOBOD has rejected reports that it is losing the final tranche of 800 million cocoa syndicated loan contracted last year. Now, Ghana received $600 million from the total loan amount late last year. 3 months on COCOBOD is yet to get enough beans to support the second and final 200 million drawdown from the facility. Speaking on PM Express last night, Public Relations Officer of COCOBOD, Fiifi Boafo, said the company deliberately pulled the brake on the final drawdown to avoid default in payment.
So we are not missing out. What it is we decided to draw down 600. The drawdown is actually to buy cocoa. You realize that you have a facility to buy cocoa, and the rate at which you have in the cocoa, it doesn't meet the expected crop size you are looking for. So to be prudent, we decide not to draw down the extra 200 because you draw down and you're unable to get contract to pay.
Because you have to pay with cocoa.
It will amount to defaults. And that is what COCOBOD is not ready.
So you're not pursuing the 200 million?
Rather, what we are doing is to get the cocoa and then redeem the contract and take the money from the buyers. So it is not a facility for the buyers.
So in that case, you're not doing forward sale anymore?
We are doing that. Of course, we have contracts with the company. But when it only matures, or you are only supposed to pay when you have delivered the contract, as in supply the cocoa beans. Now we are not taking the money from the
So that's a 200 million?
No. Because immediately you take it, you are supposed to deliver the cocoa.
Yeah.
And if the cocoa is not available, then you are going to default.
So what you're saying is, just for clarity, so for this 200 million, you're waiting to be sure that you have the beans before you take?
Precisely.
Okay, so that's what you're doing. Okay. But also...
And the twist to it is that, the twist that was given to the story is that we have...
You risk missing the 200 million?
No, we are not missing.
Okay, so you said the money is there, but you only take that money, draw down, when you're setting that you're getting the beans for it. Because you need to pay with the beans.
Precisely.
Without that, you're going to be in default.
Yes.
And this is happening. I'm clarifying because we don't have time. We're doing this because of the production shortfall. The cocoa beans production shortfall.
That's correct.
Now, a Greek economist at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Dr. Robert Edu, has criticized COCOBOD's forward sales arrangement for securing cocoa loans. The price of cocoa has risen to a record high, $10,000 per ton. But Dr. Edu said the arrangement will prevent the country from benefiting from the current rising cocoa prices on the global market.
High price of cocoa ordinarily should be good for us. Unfortunately, because we do forward sales, we already sell the cocoa ahead of time. And so it's akin to a situation where somebody pays you for your produce, and then when you harvest, when the price is good on the market, you don't have that price that the market is offering because already you have given that cocoa to somebody else. And that is the situation of Ghana. It's just a shame that as a country, we are unable to mobilize resources domestically to be able to buy cocoa so that we can hold it. If we were to buy cocoa with local currency, and then we have warehouses and we are able to hold it over here, then now that the price is around 10,000 as you are talking about, we can be releasing it onto the market. Then you can sell it, and then you can make the margins that we are all expecting. Unfortunately, they have paid you for it, but you took their money ahead of time. They took a lot of risk in giving you that money. And so the gain that they get is the extra price that they get. And so that is the economics of it. Unfortunately, cocoa has served us very well, but we have not served cocoa well.
But PR of COCOBOD, Fiifi Boafo, says the current arrangement is in the best interest of the sector.
The forward sale has actually served us very well.
But not now.
Because we are not in normal times. And what you don't do is to change your policy just because we are not in normal times. This is a system that gives you visibility. This is a system that you are able to give better projects. It takes you off the volatility or insulate the farmers from the volatility of the industry and gives you clarity going forward. But you say that, oh, today we should have saved the cocoa, kept the cocoa and sell at the spot. But over the years, when we're in normal times, this was a better system. So let me give you an example.
Sure.
The whole of February, we're only able to sell 23 tons of cocoa because of the prevailing market price. So if we are taking a decision that keep everything in your stores and now sell, and you are only able to sell 23 tons, when are you going to sell all the cocoa you have available?
Well, the Electricity Company of Ghana is facing the risk of severe sanctions for the utilities regulator, PRC, after it failed to comply with the directive to produce a load management timetable for the recent erratic power supply. The PRC directed ECG to provide a detailed incident report of power outages for the period January 1, 2024, among others. But ECG failed to comply with this deadline. This comes in the wake of calls by businesses and power consumers demanding the ECG provide a load management timetable to enable them plan their operations accordingly. Isaac Kofi Ajay with our research that joins me in studio with more details on this, Kofi. So, I mean, what are we learning from the PRC?
Well, so from what the PRC put out today, we are learning a few things. So the first one is that they gave ECG 8 orders to follow. And per analysis of the current updates given by the PRC, what we know is that 4 of the orders have been complied with so far. And if you do more analysis, you realize that 2 of the orders have not been complied with, and 2 are still under review or being validated, just like the PRC put in their press statement that they shared with us. And let's look at the orders that have not been complied with. We have 2 of them. The first one is the order that load management timetable corresponding with the timelines and duration of each transformer injection. So all the orders that had to do with timetables, ECG has not complied with so far, and that's what we are learning from the PRC at the moment. The second order that has not been complied with is the load management timetable corresponding with, we've already spoken about this one, is the evidence of publication of load management timetable again here, corresponding with the timelines and duration for each transformer injection. So we understand that the ECG was blaming partly some of the situation on transformer, management and then maintenance. PRS is saying that provide a timetable for us to really understand the situation. And so, Kojo, what we understand is that all the orders that had to do with timetable provisions, ECG has not been able to comply with so far. But let's look at the order that is being validated or currently under review. We're able to count 2 out of the 8 so far. The first one is the copies of ECG's publications informing the general public of power outages from January 1, 2024 to date. ECG is still, validating or reviewing this order so far. The last one has to do with order that is being validated, which is the PRC shall validate all payments made along with the electricity company value chain for an approval month on month, and also publish it on the PRC website not later than the second week of the following month. We know ECG has been complying with this, and so we know that by the end of the month, they should be able to do that for us to have that data to assess how much they even paid the power players, especially the independent power producers. So, Kojo, this is what we are learning so far from the update that the PRC actually put out this night.
This whole issue has generated a lot of discussion. You remember what happened in the Tema, at the Tema General Hospital on Wednesday, and it has brought up a lot of discussion as to whether or not what the country should do, or there should be a publication of timetable. The minority in Parliament is today asking the management of ECG and government by extension to eliminate health facilities, from the doomsday timetable.
Remember that the ECG already is after 91 health facilities. And they say they owe them close to 261 million Ghana cedis. They want them to be paid or get disconnected.
Well, so the minority says, the minority in Parliament has noted with deep concern the devastating impact the ongoing unannounced electricity load shedding on the delivery of essential health services across the country. Now, they go on to say that if you look at what's happening, something must change, and therefore the ECG should, eliminate or should take away government hospitals. Now, he says the government has refused to heed wise counsel from suffering Ghanaians and businesses to publish a load shedding timetable to enable them plan their lives. This situation has begun to take a toll on healthcare facilities across the country. So there you have it. The minority is telling you that what is happening is taking a toll on health facilities, as we saw at the Tema General Hospital on Wednesday. The minority says it demands the Ministry of Energy must, without delay, exempt all health facilities nationwide from the current unannounced and unscheduled electricity load shedding and power outages. So the Ministry of Health with the Ghana Health Service should A, audit all alternate power supply systems within health facilities. They are talking about generators there.
Absolutely.
Because they want to do away with what happened at the Tema General Hospital. B, provide adequate resources for the procurement of fuels, because if they have generators and they cannot power, then of course. Now, C, conduct an impact assessment to gauge the effect of recent power outages on health facility operations. So what is happening? What is the impact on health facilities? The minority want a response of a sort from the Ministry of Energy.
In fact, it must come very quickly, because we know how important this is. And seeing children actually suffering as a result of this situation means that we need to really assess the situation, especially assessing and validating all their plants and see whether they can afford fuel to actually power this plant.
But tonight, what's happening is that the Public Utility Workers Union is taking on both GRICO and the PRC. Now, it says the Public Utility Workers Union of TUC Ghana has observed with keen interest the recent challenges confronting electricity distribution in Ghana with its negative impact on the operations of ECG. Now, ECG being transparent informed customers of some 630 distribution transformers being full to capacity within its operational areas. They go on to say that ECG has about 33,000 distribution transformers within its network. Thus, even if the 630 transformers are overloaded, that cannot be the cause of the recent erratic power supply throughout the country. So they are shifting the blame from the ECG. Now, they say that it is worthy to note that at the time the bulk supply point, BSPs, are dammed, or ECG is asked to pick limited load, power supply transmitted to ECG is far less than what is available. This is a question that the system operator needs to answer. That grid code there. Now, it will interest key stakeholders, including PRC, that in the last 1.5 years, Under the leadership of this current management, ECG has made significant improvement towards becoming a modern utility company. So propping up ECG here. The question that needs to be answered is, should not PRC, as a regulator, be requesting data from the system operator on outages of BSPs to avoid the speculation? Interesting. Now, we are hereby appealing to the system regulator, that's GridCo, to address these issues at the earliest possible time. So the workers of ECG under the pool are really making a case for ECG1 and then telling the PRC that, look, you have to look at GridCo data from GridCo and not ECG, because what is happening goes beyond ECG.
Beyond just load shedding, we understand it is power generation. And so if it's power generation, then in fact, GridCo must come in to also answer some questions.
That's why the ECG workers are saying that you need to get it right from GridCo.
Yeah.
But the question we need to ask ourselves, whether, Kofi, you know for real that you'll be having power when you go home tonight, or you won't have. ECG has put out a notice warning some part of the country of a possible power outage tonight. Let's share with you where these areas, so you know. Now it says the ECG wishes to inform our cherished customers and the general public that the Ghana Grid Company Limited, GridCo, has refused or has reduced power supply to our COCOBOD supply point, resulting in outages in the following areas. So if you are here, know that you may probably go off tonight. Teshi, Regimanuel, Shadoman, Airport Hills, Spintex, Otano, Majon, is that how you pronounce it? Majon, okay. School Junction, School Junction, Nanakrom, ECG Quarters, American House, part of Medina, Ghana, Japan Motors, Lakeside, Legon Hills, Trasako Estate, Islamic University, Boteman, and Zoom Lion. It says ECG wishes to assure all affected customers that once GridCo turns on supply, power will be restored. ECG regrets the inconvenience caused to the affected customers. So we understand that actually this was to begin yesterday, 27th.
Looks like another blame game here. Just per the timetable they've given, I know I'm affected. I won't sleep. I will lie tonight.
Well, interesting. Let's see how it goes. Well, but just as they've issued this one, we understand that the ECG says that their customers and general public that GridCo has reduced power supply to Pokuase bulk supply point, resulting in outages in the following year. So today, today, for the people who are affected or who are expected to be with
okay, so what we read was yesterday.
Exactly.
Okay, that's why I didn't have light.
So you didn't have light yesterday?
Yeah,
so tonight, if you live in these areas, you have to know that you may not be without power.
Simply load.
Agbogba. I got it right,
Agbogba,
right?
Yeah.
Agbogba.
Yeah.
Mayera.
Yeah.
Part of Teman. Aimensa.
Yeah.
The other how do you pronounce the other one? Katapo?
Katapo, yeah.
Okay. Top Herbal. Boshe. Abroje. Pure Water. Pokuase Township. Fountain Gate. And surrounding areas.
I love that.
ECG wishes to assure all affected customers that once GridCo, here again, turns on supply power, power will be restored. ECG regrets the inconvenience caused to the affected customers. So here, ECG is trying to tell you that all that is happening is not ours.
Not me alone.
Yeah,
but
it is GridCo. What GridCo gives me, I supply. Now, in all of this back and forth, the chairman of Parliament's Mines and Energy Committee, Samuel Atachia, says a load shedding timetable is needed.
It's very unfortunate that we need to be harassed by, if you like, matters that we've not interrogated. But that's how I see it. And I agree with Rankin that there was necessity for ECG and the rest of them to come before the committee for us to interrogate and tell to everybody where is the problem. Because whatever you say, which is going to solve the problem, what we need to do is that what you have to do, if we are responsible, you need to do it. And then we get out of this mess. But what we had, and I'm very, very honest with some matters, that when we wanted ECG and the rest of them to congregate so we interrogate the matter, we had an intervention from the minister that is out of the jurisdiction. But in such a very important interrogation, he wants to be seated. That's how come we never got around to interrogate the matter. But it is imperative that if you have a challenge, whether it's a matter of generation deficit or a financial challenge, let the people of Ghana know that there's this challenge and this is the timetable. So people will plan around the challenge you are facing. To make it like it's a fetish that we don't know whether today I'll have power in my area or I won't have power, how people iron their clothes to get to work and the rest of it, and all the challenges. I don't think that's the way to go. It's unprofessional and it's too messy for comfort. So I think I will liaise with Rankin, and I'm tempted to believe that the minister is in the realm. We need to, although we are on holiday, we need to, get the members back for us to congregate, and they will be able to go into these matters.
Interesting point the minister, the chairman makes there. But this goes contrary to what the Minister of Energy, Matthew Opoku-Prempeh, said some days ago, that, well, we are not in any load shedding and therefore we cannot put out a timetable.
It's pure load shedding. And the updates we are getting, it's clear that the ECG is now dishing out timetable. But this time around, it doesn't come with a particular time. So I know if I live in Trasacco or wherever, I may not get lights today, but I do not know when my lights will go off. But I definitely know that I will experience some sort of doomsday. So this is a partial doomsday timetable. Maybe this will add the time.
Interesting. Well, you know, we brought you a statement from the Public Utility Workers Union, who are now, going head on with PURC, asking them that why not take a look at their grid code for what they do. Michael Odumata-Nyantichi is General Secretary of the Public Utility Workers Union, and he has been speaking to Evans Mensah on Top Story on Joy FM.
So what we are saying is that PURC, being the regulator, knows that in the system operator that has the data that will inform the whole public as to whether the quantum of power available will enable ECG to come up with a timetable or not. So to just look at the issue of this 630 transformers and demand a load shedding timetable based on that, we think it's begging the question.
Why do you say so? I mean, if you have 630 transformers that you claim...
630 transformers out of 33,000.
Yes, but...
Any objective analyst will tell you that this number cannot impact the situation that we are experiencing.
So what?
And that is where we think that the PURC would have done this for a better service than by asking the system operators to provide critical data that will help us all understand the state of what is happening.
But Mr. Nyantechi, these 630 transformers, ECG has published where they are, and they are across the country. We still need, from a customer's point of view, I still need a timetable for the specific area where you have these faulty transformers.
No, but Ivan, the point is, these transformers are localized. They cannot affect so many large areas as have been, like if you take the notice that has been published today about ECG concerning areas that are going to go off. This cannot be attributed to even 100 transformers in the area. No. So we think that GRIDCO and PURC, by extension being the regulator, can inform us all that based on A, B, or C, there is going to be this outage. But you cannot use these defective transformers as a reason for asking for a timetable.
I mean,
and the issue of transformers being full and being replaced, being upgraded, is something that is a normal practice within ECG operational areas, which does not call for any kind of a timetable.
Well, now the question people will be asking is, will the PURC be able to sanction ECG for failing to comply with orders? We've been speaking to Dr. Eric Kofi Obote, who is Director of Research and Corporate Affairs at the PURC. He's been speaking to Evans Mensah on Top Story.
How long will that take? Now that you have it, you've told us that you don't have two of them being complied with. Will the process kicking immediately for review and possibly imposition of sanctions? And how long will this take?
Well, we've transmitted whatever it is we have to the commissioners. I cannot give a deadline or time to the commissioners. So if the commissioners come out and tell us that by this time we are doing A, B, C, D, I'm more than willing to come out and communicate that to the public.
Safe to say that you're happy with the remainder of the directives and the ECG's compliance with those?
Well, there's another level of compliance. They're supposed to comply with the rest of the orders by April 2nd. That's next week, Tuesday. So we are waiting to see if maybe some other things in terms of the timetable will be added to those ones which will be brought in by April 2nd. Until then, this is what we have, and this is what we are working with.
Now, away from that, a one-year pilot implementation of HIV self-testing by the Ghana HIV and AIDS Network, Garnet, has revealed that 72% of women in the country tested positive for the virus, compared to 28% of men, while petty traders lead the chart of those who tested positive by occupation out of the 123,088 voluntary tests reported from 50 districts. Additionally, youths aged between 20 and 40 accounted for a significant 76% of all confirmed positive cases. This data was reviewed in Accra by the Ghana HIV and AIDS Network at the launch of a report on the HIV self-testing pilot implementation, which started in 2023 in Ghana. My colleague Carlos Caloni has more in the following report.
Launched in July 2023 to tackle the country's 1.7 prevalent rate, the national HIV self-testing pilot implementation was aimed at reaching 100,000 Ghanaians. At the end of the implementation, 140,000 kits were distributed across 50 districts in Ghana. Out of this figure, 123,088 kits were distributed through targeting, out of which 121,373 were used. This resulted in 239 confirmed cases being recorded, with 202 cases successfully linked to health facilities for care. Speaking to the media, President of the Ghana HIV and AIDS Network, Garnet, Ernest Amwabi Otson, revealed that per the data recorded, 72% of women from the 50 district tested positive for the virus, compared to 28% of men, while petty traders led a chart of those tested positive by occupation out of the 123,088 voluntary tests reported.
We had about 72% of the women testing reactive and going for confirmatory tests. And then also, if you look at those who have been linked to care, the women still are more than 70%. If you look at the figures for those who tested reactive, the age bracket 20 to 24, 25 to 29, and then 30 to 34. Those were the age groups that were leading. For the reactive, we found out that the highest number were petty traders, followed by farmers and other populations. The major outcome of this project is that we're able to put 202 people who otherwise would not have known their status on treatment.
Reacting to the report, Program Manager, National HIV and STI Control Program, Dr. Stephen A.C. Addo, said a lot more men need to be targeted in subsequent implementations, adding that the findings of the pilot implementation would be used to make a stronger case for sustained funding towards the fight against the disease.
This is a challenge because we noticed also that in the routine HIV program, if you take even the estimated population, about 69% are female. We know generally that health-seeking behavior of men is lower compared to the females. But the fact that that is happening doesn't mean that they are not there. The men are there. And women may be emotionally, by nature, will accept some of the services, including health service. It's not also surprising that that is why their life expectancy is higher than men in Ghana. But we don't just have to watch. We have to do something about it. So I'm encouraging the Ghanaians and all our partners to begin to look at it, because already the program, together with other stakeholders, have identified that men are being left behind. We are looking at the District Assembly Common Fund proportion that goes to HIV. And we have to engage through the Ghana AIDS Commission technical support units to make sure that we prioritize that funding for things like that.
Challenges such as myth, spiritism, and fear of knowing one's HIV status have been captured in the reporting, with strong recommendations for enhanced funding towards the 95-95 target by year 2030. Reporting for Joy News, Carlos Caloni, Accra.
Well, let's bring in Dr. Stephen Etiahine, who's Director General of the Ghana AIDS Commission, to have a chat on it. Doc, grateful to you for joining us. Per the findings of Ghana, at least from the 50 district where the pilot took place, it appears that women are testing positive at a higher rate than men. Apart from that fact that women get tested much more due to the factors such as childbirth, among others, what could be accounting for the reluctance on the part of men not to get tested? And what do we need to do to get more men to test?
All right, thank you very much. First of all, let me congratulate Garnet for the excellent job done by piloting this work. Actually, Garnet and FHI collaborated in the pilot, and we congratulate them for the successful implementation. Now, let's get the facts right.
Okay.
It is not to say that 72% of women from the 50 districts tested positive. What the figure means is that the number of people who use the test, 72% of them were women.
Okay.
And the rest men.
The men, okay.
So if you look at the data carefully, you see that among those who collected the test kits, for women, only 58% of them actually did the test. And 42% of men who collected the test kits also carried out the test. And so it is about the number of people who actually use the test kits. And of that number, 72% female and the rest male. So that is the clarification I wanted to give. But the question about men is very important. You know, self-test kits are in principle meant for underserved populations. And men have been identified as underserved population when it comes to HIV testing. Because many men are quite hesitant in doing the test. And from what we have seen in this pilot work, it's quite clear that men are underserved and must be targeted. And so that will be the focus of the next phase of the self-testing intervention.
Okay, to get more men to test there. We'll watch on to see how that goes, how men can voluntarily test, and then we can know the right data of men who are also positive in this case. Grateful for joining us, Doc. Dr. Etiahine is the Director General of the Ghana AIDS Commission. Now, this is still the JoyNews Prime. We'll take a quick break here. We'll be back with more. Kindly do stay. Welcome back from the break. Now, on today's episode of JoyNews series Field Exhibition, We turn our attention to the Aladuna community, where residents use an open drain as a makeshift dumping site for all manner of waste. My colleague Sweetie Abochi has been interacting with some residents who have lived close to the open drain for years. They say the situation is a glaring reminder of government neglect.
Nestled between Nima and Newtown, with a particular focus on the settlements adjacent to the residence of President Akufo-Addo, human dignity collides with desperation. This is the Aladuna community, where approximately 500 people call an open gutter their makeshift waste disposal site. For Amagbeto, a resident of 2 decades, it's a daily reminder of their struggles with waste management and the stinging neglect by government. He speaks of an absence of proper waste management infrastructure with a heavy heart.
Everybody put rubbish in the gutter. Even I'm fighting with people here. They come and shit here all the time. Every night they came and put over the nafojira fear shai. Alaba enye nuika edenafu enyo na nwa tamaro na dogo na po mata ga dunu. When you watch the forward there, you can watch it there. The Kayayo people, they always come there over na Masan and the other side. Nova New Kocho Malatai, their pampers, their everything, they dump it to the gutter there. They don't have any place to dump it, so they just put it inside. So for me to the Kukuna government, Ado Agrina Miapunu no labade, the area man no be no safe, no jagbagba. But what the Belonu Akona Amukata area, Umaga Globo Yoho Galo Sio, Nobo Yoho Galo Shia, a Fudega.
But it's not just the stench of refuse that hangs heavy in the air. Across recurring floods, a menacing spectre threatened to wash away what little semblance of stability they cling to. As the rains draw near, one can almost feel the collective anxiety gripping the community, a community already scarred by the memory of the devastating June 3rd flood disaster.
Iso tokra de enye ize kra June 3rd kwampo mi line wo me dem June 3rd a nsuo to ye no enya asem ketwa me ma ne nyina ye fridge e bibia say ye ibi kwa me na flower kwampo wato de ye bro machine edwuma no eno so say ye June 3rd ye line wo ye dem sese a aban bia meboa ye obibie mu nti nsuo to de enye ize kra wa ha sei etumi yiri sa na aba ye dem wo ne nyina ne abobo ye nyama ebi wa na yede ye mat tutu fridge no so gota no yede tu nsuo gum ye tu bola sugum ide no kra de meka ese bola bie ni ase container bie ni ha bola kan be fa ase nti ye den ne yesesa ye bola ye de begu yin sanka bola ka ba ye de begu bola kanim ese bola ka bia ma nti ye de begu gotem ebi wa ye de begu payment no so ne ya hye ya shia ne ya pregu gotenim me ne aban na eben aban otime huni anya me to downstairs aban so to downstairs me ne sheben me fa ase amakwa aba ha nti aban to me ya ba bi na waja ha to on me that me say onju ya ho.
Living so precariously close to the gutter with no proper waste management system in sight, Ejewe's voice trembled as she recalled the horrors endured. Dosu, another resident here at Aladuna, his tone tinged with frustration and righteous anger, joined in the conversation to demand government to give them some answers. Where are the funds allocated for the sanitation initiatives? Because they haven't seen any.
Ebia nso yi wa hasa June 4 June 3 ja nso ni nyina ye brewa ha ye gota ha kra ye toilet enje so mo bo hwu mo kro apo mo se toilet edemu ara national toilet o abani de se mi sin be ka be bi kire no kra on ye that's the number one on ye because Yebre, debia omo fa yebre ya kan Adum TV.
President Akufo-Addo's pledge to transform Accra into Africa's cleanest city by 2020, later extended by former Sanitation Minister Cecilia Dapa to 2024, now stands as a stark reminder of unfulfilled promises, as slogans like Year of Sanitation, Keeping Ghana Clean Agenda, and Making Accra the Cleanest City fade into obscurity. The reality of filth encroaching upon the cityscape becomes even more glaring. But it's not just about cleaning streets or clearing drains. It's about restoring dignity, reclaiming hope, and honoring the humanity of every individual who calls this Aladuna community home. It's time to hold our leaders accountable and demand tangible action to address the sanitation crisis plaguing our communities. For Joy News, I'm Sweetie Abochi.
The use of digital devices like smartphones and laptops at the lecture halls has been found to support teaching and learning. Students use their mobile phones, tablets, and laptops for taking note and taking part in many classroom activities. However, a research by the Publishing Studies Department of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology has found lecture hall designs don't encourage the use of digital devices. Love FM's Kwesi Deborah has more for Tech Thursday.
My name is Abigail Makafui, a fourth-year publishing student specializing in design and illustration. When it comes to machines that we use in class, for my laptop, I'm able to use it for a very long time. It can take a day. It depends on how fully charged it is. All the classes I think that are limited when it comes to sockets, but you'd have to come with an extension, and then it will have to be an extension where multiple people are using your extension as a main source for their extension as well.
My name is Maxela Tete. I take my laptop and my phone to class during designing. We have courses that it's compulsory to take your laptop or your phone to class. Also design or do the activities that we do in class. As much as I would prefer the university's laptop, I still want to use my laptop because it's something that is yours. You know how to operate it, you know how to go about it. Maybe you have some files or some documents saved on it that you would want to work with, but with the university laptop, it means that there will be restrictions. Maybe don't put an external drive inside, don't put this inside. So personally, I would like my laptop because my laptop, I know it's mine. I can do whatever I want with it.
With the proliferation of technology and gadgets and the inability of most institutions to provide access to students in the use of technology, especially digital devices, I saw it as a necessary evil to look at it. Now, if we look at the total population of K University as it stands now, we're around 87,000. And I don't think the university has the means to provide all the required hardware to support teaching and learning. So this was the reason why I tried to look at how bring your own device, the concept of bringing your own device will be of importance to us as an institution, and there's a possible way forward in implementing such a policy. Students had the digital devices, with majority of students having smartphones. A sizable number had laptops. In terms of tablets, that was low. But, and the encouragement was students were willing to bring their own device for learning because of the personalization of the devices. For example, if I have my own set of device or my system, the way I have configured it will support my learning, rather than something from, let's say, the university that is like the lab. Maybe I'm used to Mac, the lab, they are using Windows, and I go there and have my own challenges. So the support was there. The challenge was the design of our classrooms, because for you to use your own device means you need a lot of electrical ports. One, the first would be to encourage the use of it, and the university should provide or design the classrooms in such a way that it can support such endeavor. Because I can bring my machine and I can run out of battery or cell any point in time. So if there are not enough power points for us to connect, then we have a problem.